like to call this meeting of the new Hanover County Board of Education to order. It is Tuesday, February 4th. First thing on the agenda is the invocation. In place of the invocation, we will have a moment of reflection. Everyone please stand. Thank you. Next on the agenda, the Pledge of Allegiance, National Anthem, and posting of colors.
Word. Mark. Left turn. March. Color guard. Colt. Present. Colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Read. Colors. Ready. Cut. Present. Colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare of bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, of the brave?
Ready. Right turn. March. Forward. March.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the meeting tonight. I'm Jackie Booth, your Supervisor of Arts Education, and tonight, could we please get a round of applause for Trask Middle School? These lovely ladies and gentlemen, under the direction of Miss Sarah Bishton, are going to introduce themselves to you now and tell you what grade they're in.
Folks, please be seated.
Please.
Hi, I'm Zoe, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, I'm Savannah, and I'm in 6th grade.
Hi, my name's Lily, and I'm in 7th grade. Hi, I'm Charity, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, I'm Mary Ruth, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, I'm Samantha Davis, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, I'm Cameron. I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, I'm Giovanna, and I'm in 6th grade.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm in 6th grade.
Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, I'm Kate, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, I'm Phoebe, and I'm in 6th grade.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm in 8th grade. Hi, I'm Gwyneth, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, I'm Malia, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, I'm Ava, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hello, my name is Tyler, and I'm in 6th grade.
Hi, I'm Lawson. I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, I'm Danielle, and I'm in 6th grade.
Hi, I'm Micah, and I'm in 6th grade.
Hi, I'm Lauren, and I'm in 8th grade. Hi, I'm Aubrey, and I'm in 8th grade.
Thank you. Also tonight, oh, yep, absolutely. Also tonight, we have the Ashley High School ROTC cadets with us, and we're going to have them give us their name and rank as well.
Hello, I'm Raymond Trochet. I'm a junior at Ashley High School.
Hello, I'm Cadet Maggie Piner. I'm a sophomore at Ashley High School.
I'm Cadet Pyron, and I'm a junior at Ashley High School.
I'm Cadet Martin, and I'm a freshman at Ashley High School.
Thank you. Thank you to all the students. Item number 2, and thank you to Ms. Booth. Item number 2, approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions?
I would make a motion to amend the agenda to add a closed session pursuant to 143-31811A6 after Roman numeral 7.
All right. With that addition, is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved. We have no minutes to approve. Moving on to item number 4, recognition of achievement. Ms. Clegg?
Good evening. Tonight, we would like to take a moment to recognize some very special guests we have from UNCW tonight. Through the district's partnership with the Watson School of Education, we are able to recognize Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program scholars. A grant for over $200,000 through the Fulbright T program has brought scholars from over 20 countries to UNCW. The Fulbright T program enables secondary school teachers from around the world to come to the United States to host universities for 6 weeks to engage in targeted professional development and growth opportunities. They are also partnering with New Hanover County Schools teachers through field experience. They are placed at Ashley High School, Hoggart High School, New Hanover High School, and CTEC. If the Fulbright participants would please stand to be recognized at this time. Thank you. As you spend time in our classrooms among our educators and our students, we hope it serves as an excellent opportunity to further your growth and development as an educator. Thank you.
And thank you to all the educators in the room. Item number 5, call to the audience. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Time does not permit dialogue between the board and the community. While the board welcomes residents to share their views, The chairperson retains the right to limit discussions on a particular topic when such comments become slanderous or personal in nature. First person to sign up is Angela Connie.
Good evening. My name is Angie Caney, and I'm one of many that represent the concerned citizens of NHCS United for Students. A year ago, I stood before you and pleaded with you to hear our concerns about sexual abuse in our schools and to respond by conducting an investigation and anonymous survey to expose predators and protect our children. 6 of the 7 of you voted no. I actually was naive enough to think when I first approached this board that perhaps you were open to possible solutions, and I thought that if I shared with you through personal and professional experience what the traumatic effects of sexual abuse looks like, then it might somehow influence your dismissive decisions. I was proven wrong when one of our survivors of sexual abuse on your watch shared her experience, and I saw firsthand how you refused to offer an ounce of empathy, similar to the blatant disregard displayed in the press conference last Thursday. I was appalled both then and now. To offer no answers to our questions and fail to show compassion was unacceptable. Then to further blame and shame a parent who shared legitimate concerns with you that you failed to act upon was ridiculous. I've been a social worker with abuse victims for 22 years, almost as long as Peter Franks has been molesting children. And I don't need to remind you that you're mandated reporters of suspected abuse and should act accordingly. You can't fix what you fail to acknowledge, and that survey report and investigation would have gone a long way in proving that you actually care about the safety of our children. Instead, you've responded with snarky comments to silence us and name-calling us as noisemakers and the mob. You've shown our survivors of this tragedy zero respect and zero reassurance that you'll protect them moving forward. You've allowed administrators to quietly resign with full pension and celebrated retirement for corrupt individuals and placed sexual predators on leave and shifted them around. Those aren't consequences. This is protecting pedophiles. We're done waiting patiently on your positive change. We're done with excuses, and we're done with blindly sending our children to schools you govern where they're clearly not safe. We call for a complete change in leadership from top to bottom, led by the only board member that's proven to care about the safety of our children, Judy Justice. We call for the immediate termination of our superintendent for his role in over 2 decades of corruption and covering up child sexual abuse. We call for every single person to be exposed and held accountable that has had anything to do with victimizing a child and rid our schools of this toxicity immediately. And we call that you, the board, begin to treat our families with the empathy and the respect that they've always deserved and fix what you've broken in helping them to heal from this trauma that you've helped perpetuate. What we have always wanted is safety, justice, accountability, and transparency, and we won't stop until we get it. Thank you for your time.
Pandori and Cromartie. Pandori and Cromartie. Tanya Kiesel. Tanya Kiesel. Kessel. Natasha Longo. Hazel Isles.
Hi, my name is Hazel. I am 12 years old and in 6th grade. I asked my mom if I could speak tonight because although I haven't been directly impacted by this issue, I don't understand how you can be a pedophile and still keep your job. I have great teachers and they are really supportive of me, but it is not fair that they could lose their job if they speak out. If I do something bad at school, I could get suspended or expelled. But if a teacher hurts a child, they keep their job. People should be held accountable if they do something wrong. And the teachers that have hurt these kids were not held accountable. The victims of these teachers now have to live with the fact that you did not protect them. I'm in middle school, and it's scary to know that if anything happens to me, I won't be protected. You You guys have abused your power and have not protected us. I am asking you to do the right thing and keep us safe. Thank you.
Barbara Anderson. Barbara Anderson. Sandra Geffrich.
Hi, my name is Sandy. I have 3 kids that have either been in the school system or are currently in the school system. Pretty active in my high school. I would like to question the legality of having your admins go into personnel files before a second party not affiliated with New Hanover County Schools could investigate those personnel files. Seems like a cover-up to me. I call for the immediate termination of Tim Markley, and I call for an investigation into all board members as well as all admins in the district.
Evan Folds.
How's everybody doing? So you guys were gracious enough to hear from us the other day at your work session on our ask for reverse osmosis filling stations in schools. And I just wanted to show up tonight to remind you of our efforts and to read you a couple of passages for some letters of support that we received from the community as we've disseminated this information through the petition that now has over 2,000 signatures. We've developed a list of organizations and schools, private schools in Wilmington and New Hanover County, including restaurants like Rotc, even U.S. Foods, Best Buy, WHQR, Live Oak Bank. All of these organizations have taken steps to protect their people. Wanted to read a couple of passages here. This one is from Michelle Lawson, owner of Sweet Peas Montessori School. She says, I want every child in the area to have access to clean drinking water at school. This is their basic right, and it's up to us as adults to make sure that we do everything we can to provide this for them. Health is fundamental, and clean drinking water is the foundation upon which good health rests. Got a letter from Friends School in Wilmington. As soon as the news came 2.5 years ago that our water was compromised, they took their entire board and sat with Cape Fear River Watch and to understand the information intimately. And they actually went as far as to do the reusable bottles, which we're also asking for. Their statement was, in part, we ask our students to bring reusable water bottles to school in an effort to avoid the amount of waste generated by single-use disposable plastic bottles. This is why we initially installed bottle filling stations. We could not in good conscience ask our students to use the bottle filling stations on our campuses without taking the step that we deemed the best response to proven contamination of the municipal water supply. This is a statement from Dreams, who supports children in the area. They say, we were fortunate to receive our RO system as a donation and understand that most homeowners, schools, and local organizations do not have the resources to pay for this technology. A reverse osmosis system would have been outside of our financial reach had it not been for the generosity we experienced and their commitment to help us make the water our students drink safe. That's an important statement to make. Most people don't have the ability to protect themselves from this water. This statement is from Island Montessori School. Children spend approximately 180 days a year at school, meaning our students spend about 50% of their days at our facility drinking the water we provide. We felt we could not in good conscience provide water to our children that might negatively impact their health and development. I wanted to finish with a statement from the New Hanover County Pta. They sent out the information that we provided to you in the last meeting and got pretty much unanimous response and who responded in support of the situation. I don't have the time to read the statement, but I'm going to submit these documents to you, and I hope you do review them. It does speak to all of the parents that are parents of the students at our schools. And the last note is I did speak with Senator Harper Peterson before I came, and he's making progress on the state level to match or allocate funds that are going to be necessary. So I just ask that you continue to use us as a mechanism to help us make sense of this situation. Thank you for hearing me.
Eugene Mack Coyle. Eugene Mack Coyle. Reverend Dante Murphy.
My purpose here this evening, I really didn't come to ask you all to do anything, because I really think this board is incapable of responding to what's happened. It's been evident for over a year now, because I found it strange that when we brought these cases before you back in December of 2018, the logical thing would have been to just do something with it. But instead, you all took offense over being called co-conspirators to child sexual abuse and discrimination. I had hoped to come back one day and apologize for saying that, but you proved me to be true. And so I don't think you're capable. I hope somebody that has more authority than you will decide to take this school system over and do what is necessary to protect children. I do not think this problem will be solved by firing anybody, because I think the culture is there. But I think you have to do that just for a start. That's what I hope the state board, I don't know what their powers are, because their attorneys told me personally they've never seen anything like this. They've never seen a situation where you find out that pedophiles have been protected by administrators. Lastly, I did receive confirmation that two of your board members, your chairperson and a member, that the SBI is exploring whether they failed to properly communicate crimes to the proper authorities. That's just a shame. You know, even when you get information and you don't know what to do with it, you kind of err on the side of safety. But you respond and tell somebody, oh, if you think it's a problem, go to law enforcement. I don't think you're capable. So I hope somebody, and I'm thankful for the county commissioners who for the first time came out yesterday and collectively made a statement that this school system is unsafe. So I guess do what you want to do. That's what you did for over a year. In fact, some of you did it for 20 years now. But I hope somebody will do something to fix this school system.
Vandorian Cromartie. Tanya Kiesel. Natasha Longo.
Good evening. I come to you today to speak again about student safety. I came to you a year ago and told you the story of what had happened to my daughter. Within that year, we have had 2 teachers arrested and admit to improper conduct and sexual conduct with their students. We have had a press conference that happened a week ago, which was just a horrible nightmare. If you were on my end watching it, it was absolutely ridiculous. In that past year, you have definitely tried to make some improvements. You replaced Title IX director. You also tried, in my opinion, to do that to kind of put a lid on things, and yet here we are a year later again today. We have been accused of coming at you all with a mob mentality, and let me just let you know that you all created that mob mentality. We heard comparisons from school board members that you all are parents, and that you may be, but you are nothing compared to the parent of a victim. Nothing. You have done nothing to keep our children safe. They are still preyed upon by sexual predators. So with all of that being said, I am here today as a constituent, as a voter, and as a concerned parent to call for the resignations, the immediate resignations of Superintendent Tim Markley, Chairwoman Lisa Eastep, and the following board members: David Wortman, Jeanette Nichols, Bill Rivenbark, Nelson Ballou, and Stephanie Adams, leaving Judy Justice the only person to sit on this board, therefore making her Madam Chairwoman. Your negligence is insulting and infuriating. If I could honestly tell you what it is that I thought standing here in public behind this podium today, you wouldn't like me even more than you not like me now. Enough is enough. I'm not asking you to resign. As a voter, as your constituent, I'm demanding the resignations of the people I named previously.
Barbara Anderson.
Good evening. In December, the bus drivers came to you asking for a pay raise. In January, they came asking you for a pay raise. I know and thank you for raising their base pay to $14 an hour in the 2019-2020 budget, and that you promised that they would get a raise in the 2020-2021 budget for $15 minimum base rate. However, when you gave that increase in this school year, it did not reflect across the veterans and experienced drivers. They're not being paid in par with the new pay table. I believe that our experienced drivers should have received raises adjusted to compensate for their years of experience based on the new pay scale. Most of our experienced drivers are women of color. Most of them are working second jobs to make ends meet because they don't work a full 40-hour week, but they love what they do, and they do it very well. Our bus drivers need our support and respect for their care of our children while transporting them to and from school, and compensation for their years of dedicated service. Bus drivers are on the first line of intervention for many of our students in crisis, and they relate that information to counselors and educators. They're the first face of public education they see in the morning and the last face in the afternoon. They set the tone for the day for many children. I'm asking you, when you start that beginning budget process for the 2020-2021 year, which you haven't yet, as concerned parents and community members, we must demand the board to pay our bus drivers what they deserve. And we must ensure that you keep the promise of that base pay of $15 an hour for new drivers at 2020-2021. And that you also compensate those veteran drivers for their years of experience. It's not right for a veteran driver to be making the same as a new driver. They have years of experience, they do it because they love it, and we need to respect their position and to care for our children. Thank you.
Eugene Matt Coyle. All right. Item number 6, administrative personnel. Item A, Appendix A.
This is for the principalship at Porter's Neck Elementary. This will be a new school, so the state will start funding this position March 1st. The recommendation is Dr. Massengale, a principal at West Pine Middle School with Moore County Schools. Previously served as an assistant principal at Coates-Irwin Middle, Overhills Middle with Harnett County, and has served as a teacher and director at 71st Classical Middle School. He has a bachelor's degree in political science from NC State, a master's in middle school education from Gardner-Webb, add-on licensure in school administration from UNCW, and his doctorate in education from Gardner-Webb University. He couldn't be here tonight, but we'll bring him back next month for an introduction.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, he was a really good
Hearing
candidate.
none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved. Item 7, Head Start. Item A, Head Start Liaison Report. Appendix B, Mr. Bullier.
Good evening, everyone. Our monthly Head Start numbers remain at 260 funded enrolled students, 111 3-year-old students, and 149 4-year-old students. We have begun our enrollment for the next year, and I believe Ms. Miles said it was looking good. 53 yesterday, 47 today. So we are very busy at this time with new families, interviews, and doing all of those very important things. Next appendix. And again, every month, my reminder that Head Start is a month in arrears, and so what you are seeing might look a little low, but we continue to maintain our track to meet our expectations financially. Are there any questions, or Ms. Miles, is there anything you'd like to add? Are there any questions from board members? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Miller, and thank you, Ms. Miles. All right, moving on to the closed session pursuant to General Statute 143-31811A6. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in closed session. Good? Okay. Item 8, information, policy for first reading. Ms. Jeanette Nichols?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is for first reading, and however, I'm going to ask that we waive the first reading. This policy 8130 should say school placement, and I'm going to ask Mrs. Varnum if she will explain the request for this waiver.
Thank you, Ms. Nichols. Policy 8130 requires a revision based on the addition of the new Porter's Neck Elementary School. And this, the employee benefit for any staff employed at Porter's Neck Elementary School for the corresponding employee benefit elementary, middle, and high school of Porter's Neck, Holly Shelter, and Laney. And so we ask that you approve this recommended update.
Motion to waive first reading?
Yes, we need a motion.
Okay, so is there a motion to waive first reading?
Mm-hmm.
Move to waive.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of waiving first reading say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved. Next, we need a motion to approve the revised policy as written.
Move for approval?
Second.
There is a motion and a second to approve policy 8130. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. Farnham.
Thank you. Item 9, Superintendent's Report. Item A, Safe Drinking Water in School Facilities, Appendix M.
This is a resolution that comes out of our work session that we had 2 weeks ago. Couple of pieces here. I'm going to ask the board to approve this resolution. And then also, you will see where it says a budget transfer. We have some savings that we can use to get this project started in the initial schools. So you'll see that as part of a budget transfer when you get to the budget amendment piece. I'll let Mr. Anderson add a little more to this.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Markley. Yes, from our work session, I think we were all very supportive of obviously safe drinking water in our schools. And so the resolution supports the efforts of CFPUA, but we also want to, on their long-range plan, for improvements at the Sweeney plant. But we're also looking to do something in the interim. While I think our overall goal would be to provide or replace every drinking fountain in our schools with safe drinking water. The very least we can do is provide access in every school. So this would, we believe, would provide one drinking fountain or bottle filling station at each of the 30 schools that are served by the Sweeney water treatment facility. And as Dr. Markley said, we had this from some savings from some previous capital projects. And if the budget transfer is approved, we would get started immediately with the hiring of an engineer to start the design for each one of those schools.
We would come back in the full budget cycle with a larger request, but this is to get us started.
Do we have an idea of what those stations would look like, or where they would be located? I guess it would depend on the school.
Well, I think each school would be different. We want to put them in a location that's most accessible for the students and staff, and but each school will be different. That's why I think it's important to get an engineer involved so that we can look at what's possible in terms of the facility layout and the plumbing associated with the facility. But obviously our goal would be to put that station in the most accessible location for students.
Mr. Ransom, how big are we talking, are one of these devices?
I'm sorry?
How large a device are we talking about?
The bottle filling station probably, it looks very similar to what you see at a drinking fountain. It's the filtration and the tank that accompanies that I'm not sure. Ideally, we could locate it where maybe that's hidden and all you see is the bottle filling station, but they're not very big.
So, Madam Chair, what we're asking for is approval of the resolution by the board, and then after that, in the budget, when we get to the budget section, is to approve the budget transfer.
And this is a reverse osmosis station?
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Do any board members have any comments?
Commissioner Folds, I just want to thank you for your work on this and for bringing this to the board's attention.
And I would also like to thank all the people over the last couple of years who have been concerned about this and have been pushing for it, and it's now coming to this, because it's not just recent. This has been an ongoing concern. And I know that you've been, Mr. Folds, have been very involved with it. So I'd like to thank all those people also.
I'd also like to acknowledge Emily Donovan that came with Mr. Folds and presented at our work session and shared this information. And I would like to thank very much Mr. Anderson, this moved so quickly, and to be able to find the money. I really appreciate that our students can start drinking clean water soon. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the budget request and resolution?
Move for approval.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved. All right, item number 10, board chairperson's report. I don't have anything tonight. Item 11, committee reports. Do we have any committees that are reporting today?
Well, I'm not really giving a report. I've been, of course, I'm a committee member of the Parks and Rec, and they are now looking at the Battleground Park down by Carolina Beach, and it's already gone through a process, and it is, it's looking like it's gonna happen, and that's actually close to Veterans Park, so, which is more of a recreational structure. This would be a passive type park with more of a natural feel to it. So I just think that it's, you know, the fact that they're doing that and so many of our kids can benefit in our community just needs to be, you know, thank the Parks and Rec for pushing this forward.
Just a quick update, Family Communications Committee, through the month of February, the roundtable discussion is actually going to be around Title IX, and Title IX Director Darrell Lewis will be presenting, and it will be an open Q&A with families, and so there's going to be more information to come with that, but that is scheduled for February 27th.
And since you are doing committees, I'd like to talk just very briefly about the the dress code committee. We have been really moving along quite rapidly. We should be having something, if we haven't already presented, to the policy committee, and there have been a lot of positive input. I think it's been a very good learning experience for people that had certain opinions when they went into it to find out the realities of what has to go on in the schools, and what we're doing, I think, is much more equitable and student and community friendly, but at the same time, it is going to probably be, some people not going to be necessarily happy with it, but I think that the outcome is going to be really much better addressing what our kids and our schools need. And Dr. Markey's been sitting in on that, and he knows what I'm talking about.
That is going to policy. They've got the draft, so I believe it's been sent to policy already. If it hasn't, let me know, and I'll make sure you get it.
We have not received it officially. I think we got the draft as individual board members.
All right, so I'll make sure that gets the policy. Would like to commend the students on that committee. They were instrumental in really furthering that discussion.
I was going to say, Star News did a piece on the work that the students did on dress code. I really think this is going to be a more equitable policy. It's going to be a policy that is beneficial for our entire student body and for our staff to provide some clarity around an issue that is constantly evolving.
All right. If that's it for committee reports, we'll move on to item number 12, consensus items. Item A, personnel.
Yes, Madam Chair, I request approval of the personnel as listed on Appendix D.
Is there a motion to approve Appendix D?
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved. Thank you. Moving on to item number B, budget amendments, Appendix D. Ms. Small?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I request approval of these amendments along with the budget transfer that you recently discussed.
Is there a motion to approve Appendix D?
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item C, change of school assignment, Appendix F. Ms. Farnham?
Yes, Madam Chair, I ask that you approve the change of school assignment, release of student, as defined in Appendix F.
Is there a motion to approve Appendix F?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 13, old business. Item A, restart calendar, Appendix K. Dr. Smith?
Yes, would ask the board's approval of the changes to the restart calendar. With the approval of the traditional calendar last month, the schools that are applied, for which the restart calendar apply, are requesting that their spring break align with the traditional calendar spring break.
All right, you've heard the request from Dr. Smith. There's our motion to approve Appendix K.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item B, Policy Services, Appendix L. And that's me. I would like to ask the board for a decision on whether or not we are going to, we heard information about the policy services from two individuals at the NCSBA and from Janine Murphy and Allison Schaefer, who came down to talk about the different services they provide. And I would like to ask for a motion on those services.
Is it all of them, Lisa?
Pardon?
Is it all of them or just the?
Well, the customized plan, which was the one that Ms. Murphy talked about, that would take about 18 months, was the one-time fee of $29,900, and that would be built into our next year's budget, and that would be split into 3 payments. That was the one where they would work with our policy, current policy committee, and customize our policy manual and provide that conversion to the PLS-based manual. So there are also other choices of the compliance review and then just getting the updates.
Well, I move to approve that funding.
Second. Any discussion?
I would, I think there are other options as well. If you can go scroll up a little bit, the other way, I think it is. One of the other options that was available without spending the amount of money is to do the, buy the initial policy manual and get annual updates. I believe the initial, just to buy the current policy manual, if I'm correct, was $3,500. And then you had a $2,000 annual fee. I think doing that, there's a lot of benefits to doing that, because that allows us to get updated policies that aren't custom specific to our school district, allowing the appropriate areas in our school district look at those policies and add specific stuff in there. I think it saves us a lot of money. It ends up saving us probably in the first, just in the initial buy, it saved us about $35,000. And then instead of spending $7,000, we're spending $1,200 a year. We're still getting the new policies, but we're ensuring that we as a district are actually reading those policies,
Right.
and each department is reading those policies, and we're actually creating those custom as well. So I think that is I think that's something that I could agree to. So
I agree, Mr. Wardman, because when they mentioned that it would take 18 months to 2 years, but the involvement of our staff, our attorney, this is, what we need are the legal updates.
Mm-hmm.
And we certainly can work them with our staff and with the committee and the board to ensure that they're in place and that the schools and parents are aware of the changes. But to shift all the policies that we have that are working and have been reviewed and revised throughout the years, there's no need just to put them in different categories, and it's going to take a long time. And I know that I asked about one system who subscribed to the service, but their policies were not updated. And the answer was, well, they did their subscription years ago. Well, if we spend that money and we don't have them updated, who's responsible?
Are they gonna go back through our policy manual though and look and see what's wrong in
Well,
it?
I think, and that's kind of what my proposal would be to, there's a one-time, and this is the screen, a one-time instead of the $29,000 fee, there's a one-time $3,500 fee. My understanding is that $3,500 fee gives you all of the current policies. And doesn't custom into your district, but gives you the actual policies that every other district has. At that point, we're able to, as a district, use those policies, and I would say templates, they're not really templates because they're actual policies, but allow our district to customize those policies. And then you spend the $2,500, I think that's the annual fee, the $2,500 annual fee, where you're constantly getting the same updates that you would get if you had the custom package. The problem is the custom package, I think, is $6,900. This is $2,500. But it forces us as a system to look at those policies, each specific department look at those policies and allow those policies to be built for New Hanover County instead of almost putting the burden on, I wouldn't say the burden, but almost just saying, hey, give us custom policies. I think this forces us to look those policies and stay current to those policies.
So, different districts have different policies.
They
So
do.
We're gonna get all of them.
We get all of them.
I mean, we're gonna go look through and pick out the one that
Well, I
best
mean,
suits us.
I would say most of the policies are pretty consistent. I think when they say custom, they putting New Hanover County schools into some of those areas. If there are specific areas to our, specific items to our region, trying to build those in, but we're aware of those. So I think that would be my suggestion, and I would make make an amended motion to approve buying the initial package, which is $3,500, and then committing to the annual updates, which is $2,500. Those aren't the custom packages. Those are the policies that are current, that are developed, but it would, again, put the burden or the onus on the school district to review those policies to make sure that they meet our needs.
And that's my concern, is that by having the NTSB do it for us, we know that we have the most up-to-date information, the most proper legal information, and they are doing it for us. We don't have
We always have
excessive staff to be able to do, I mean, this is a huge undertaking.
Well, I know, but that's why we're getting the policy. I mean, the fact is we are getting the exact updates that everyone else is getting. They're just not putting New Hanover County schools in those updates.
And then who's going to do a giant review of 268 policies?
Right.
Well, with all due respect, I would hope that our district is aware of those policies, and this is a way to make sure that we are aware, to continue to know that what policies that we're doing.
But that's the
what's
point
important.
that's the point of the 18 months of work, where they're working side by side with us to look at each policy and say, this is how it works with New Hanover County Schools. I mean, that's why it is so much work. I mean, if they just come in and say, here you go, here's the notebook, then it becomes yet another thing to stick on the shelf. And that is my concern, because that's what's happened. And then again, it's another bunch of paper that we're looking through, and that's not what this should be. This should be something that it's a living document that we're looking at and we're working with. And every department is working with us, and they're being brought in and they're saying, okay, we're working on the 1000 series, we're working on the 2000 series. So it becomes an interactive process, and they have the manpower to come down and do that with us. And that's why, yes, I realize it's a more significant cost, but there's a reason for that. And if it just becomes that they give us this document or this set of documents, then I guess I don't see the good in that, because then we have to again go through and review it, and that's the problem, is we don't have the staff to do that.
I would disagree. I mean, I feel that by getting the template of the policies, and putting them to the specific committees, we have a policy committee, that it does force us to read those policies and understand those policies. If we just have custom policies done by the School Board Association, then we don't necessarily have to read them. We just have the school board do them for us, and then we do stick them on a shelf. I think that if we actually take the responsibility of customizing our own policies, we already have the law, we already have the new policies. They email them to you whenever they come out. So we know the law because they're giving it to us. But by forcing specific departments to evaluate those policies, I think that's a good thing because it forces you to read them. But that's just my opinion.
I think it's exactly the opposite. I mean, I respectfully disagree. I think it's exactly the opposite. This forces us to work side by side with them on developing that custom manual. And again, that's why it does take so long, so that it becomes our manual. And then it's incumbent upon us, to speak to Jeanette's point, it's incumbent upon us to keep it up. And if the other systems haven't done it, that's because they just haven't focused on this. But this becomes our duty to continue to modernize and continue to work on.
And just for the point, and correct me if I've got my numbers wrong here, but there's 110 school districts in North Carolina. 86 of them have done the customized. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And of those 86, then there's 105 that have done some sort of partnership to have their policy manual updated, correct? So, I mean, we're one of those 5 that don't have this, and so I think that there must be something that's working if 86 counties or 86 school districts have utilized this service.
And many of those school districts are not getting the renewals.
Fair.
The $6,900 a year to pay for it. Under what I'm proposing, you get the manual, you pay $2,500 a month. I just think in a time, one forces us to make sure that we have custom policies, and 2, it saves us $5,000 a year and then $35,000 up front.
Then you're also talking about the manpower involved for the $3,500 you send them out. Although it would be excellent if our, different divisions and departments are familiar with the policies. So you got 50-50 here, what is really the best? But we definitely need an update one way or the other.
I mean, I'm not saying not to get the update. I'm just saying that there's different ways.
Well, do we have, I mean, it is gonna cost money to have people do this when they send in the version that we're supposed to add to our policy. And that's gonna be manpower taken away from, right now, we're pretty darn overloaded in just about everything. But they do need to be familiar with these policies. Isn't that part of what the $39,000, the full policy manual, isn't that part of what they do is they come in and talk to the different divisions about the changes in the policy?
Yes.
Because that would be my main concern, is not just buy it, but actually make sure that everybody knows how to implement it and what's going on. If you were to, get the smaller package where you put it together and do that, of course they would. But everybody's so overloaded right now. When you literally look at the cost per person to do something like this, it probably would end up a lot more than $39,000 by the time you put all that energy into it.
Very good point.
Yeah, so that in itself probably is not necessarily so practical after all. And our system is pretty overloaded with all the requirements we've got coming down from everything else at this point.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
So the motion passes 5-2. Thank you. Item number 14, new business. Item A, audit contract with Cherry Beckert, Appendix H. Ms. Small?
Thank you. I recommend the board's approval of this audit contract to renew with Cherry Beckert for another year for $57,680.
All right. Is there a motion to approve Appendix H?
Move for approval?
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Small, do you want to talk a little bit about the software pilot?
Certainly. We are currently in the process of working with Tyler Technologies to pilot for the state software, and it's quite an undertaking. And so one of the things that we requested was to continue with the same auditors this next year, because they'll be able to assess our internal controls on the old and the new system because they're so familiar with our current system. We thought it would be helpful to have the same auditors.
But there will be a new principal on the audit, is that correct?
Say again?
There'll be a new principal on the audit, is that correct?
Yes, we have requested that.
All right. All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number B, polling place usage agreement. Mr. Anderson?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. We ask for your approval tonight of the polling places usage agreement as presented. This is for Hoggard High School.
Because of the renovations at the senior center, they need to move over to Hoggard.
All right, is there a motion to approve item number B?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved. Item C, access control system for high schools, Appendix J. Mr. Anderson?
Thank you. This project is funded in the 18-19 capital budget. We had been delayed with Hurricane Florence and Hurricane Dorian, but we're happy to bring this to you tonight. This project will expand the electronic locks and AI phone entry system that we have at all of our elementary and middle schools. This will actually expand that system to our high schools. So tonight we ask for your approval to award this contract to North Carolina Sound of Goldsboro LLC in the amount of $356,235.85. We do want to make one addition to the contract that's attached. We would ask that this be approved with the addition to add to Part B, line item number 3, that labor, materials, parts, and components in accordance with the Hanover County School RFP dated January 2nd, 2020. So we're asking tonight for your approval of this contract with that one add.
Is there a motion to approve the amended contract?
Motion approved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved. Item number D, lease agreement for Xerox machines, Appendix G. Ms. Small?
Thank you. Just a little background on this. We currently have a lease for this copier in our print shop that would expire in June. This is a lease with a state term contract with Xerox. The pricing of the new contract is better, so we're asking to actually approve, sort of a short term from March 3rd to June 30th on the new lease, replacing our current one, and then adding another 5 years or another with the new lease rates. So the cover sheet on the appendix only reflected the first few months, but we're actually asking for the short term and then the 60-month lease.
Is there a motion to approve Appendix G? Item number D, Appendix G.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved.
Thank you.
Item 15, correspondence. Does any board member have any correspondence they wish to share? Item 16, announcements. Item A, the next regular meeting of the New Hanover County Board of Education will be held Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020 at 5:30 in the Board of Ed Center. We no longer need the closed session, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.